So I've gotten many like comments of my classmates or my peers saying that I take really, really good notes. And so hopefully they say the same thing about yours, because I'm sharing the same things that I do for you.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understanding.
Hey guys, as you can see in this title, this video is going to be about how to best take notes and study for law school by showing you how I highlight, take notes, case brief, and study. Law school can feel very overwhelming. You have over like 100 pages of reading, briefing, and figuring out what's important. So without ado, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's go ahead and get into the video. So here's a few things. You could either be a physical textbook person where you have your physical textbooks, or you could be a digital textbook person where you take your notes like on your iPad. I'm more of a digital person, but obviously I have my physical textbooks. Highlighting is definitely going to become essential in law school. I have not met another law student who does not highlight, so make sure you have your highlighters and a pencil or a pen, and I prefer a pencil. If you haven't seen already, I have a video on my channel featuring all the law school essentials that you need and why you should get them, so make sure you tune into that video. So know that textbooks are actually called casebooks in law school because when you open up a casebook, you are literally reading real court opinions, and that is how law students learn the law, through cases. So I highlight and make notes using the IRAC method. So IRAC actually stands for F for facts, I for issue, R for rule of law, A for application, and C for conclusion/holding. Your facts is like what happened. So I always focus on the super important ones that I'll probably get cold called on, and that is definitely important to the whole entire case. Try not to retell the entire story, just what matters for the legal question. You can also put the procedural history here, which is like, example, trial court said X, appellate court said Y, and now we're at Z. That is the stuff that I will keep at the facts section. I for issue is like, what is the issue in this case? What is this case trying to answer? Majority of all your cases will have an issue in it. I usually like to take notes and phrase the issue as a yes or no question. For example, one of the issues I put on my case was, does the store owner have a duty to warn customers about spilled water in an aisle if the spill happened seconds before the fall, whatever. So I would like highlight that, and I will also put that in my notes as the issue. R is your rule of law. This is just the law, the standard, or just the applicable law. So whatever the law is or the statute, that's what I will put for the R. A for application. This can also be known as the analysis. This is like one of the most important parts of case briefing and how the facts either meet or fail the rule. This is also why you'll probably hear a lot of lawyers or law students say it depends, because it depends on the facts to apply to the law. So these are very important. C is for the conclusion, also known as like the holding, or it also can be like a disposition. The conclusion is like the court's answer to the whole case, to the whole issue. Basically like what actually happened with the case. Was it dismissed? Was it affirmed? Was it reversed? This is going to be, your conclusion is typically at the end of the case. I like to also include my reasoning and policy. Sometimes you can actually add this to your application. This is basically why the court ruled the way that they did and what goal is being served here. So again, facts, issue, rule of law, application or your analysis, and conclusion holding. And I actually highlight using that IRAC method. I'm going to show you the highlighters that I use and like what color I use. I use yellow for the facts, I use green for the issue, I use blue for the rule, purple for the application, and pink for the conclusion or the holding. Whatever color that you use, you can just literally write down. I literally wrote it down. I'm going to show you guys exactly where I wrote it down back when like my first week of law school. I literally wrote everything down because I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember? You know, so you literally get the hang of it probably by like the next week. So don't sweat. Just choose your colors on how you want to highlight and remember them, write them down so you remember them, and just keep on doing. Practice makes perfect with everything, and then you'll be able to start highlighting that way where you just remember off the top of your brain whenever you're highlighting and you're reading. Because when you're reading, you need to be highlighting. This is how you're going to be able to organize all the things so you can finally case brief. Another tip I do with my notes is I use red. So the only time I use red is if I need to underline a keyword that I want to know and I don't really know what it means. So that way I can put the definition here. So that way when I'm reading, I also learned a new word that is normally used in legal phrases. Just want to up your knowledge or better your vocabulary. So that's why I would do this. Also in red, I will probably underline something that I want to ask my professor, and I will write it in red, but I'll make sure I do not put the squiggly lines because that's just for definitions or terms. I will actually phrase it as a question and write a little note, and then I will also put it in my notes that I'm going to show you how I do when I'm typing my notes and I'm in class and I want to ask my professor a question. Once I finish reading and highlighting, I use Quimbee as another support tool, which is definitely a holy grail in law school. You definitely have to have Quimbee. I absolutely love it. I just go on quimbee.com and I will look up my brief or my case that I'm reading, so that way I can get a visual of animation. Let me show you how it works. I was using the free version, but honestly I do feel like the paid version, it might be a little bit pricey, but I do feel like it is a little bit worth it for deeper explanations and to just unlock more key features. For example, let's take this case here that we were assigned to read once upon a time. So that is Hostler whatever v Loretto. So I'm gonna go and search that. So just literally Hostler v Loretto, and I'm gonna go to Quimbee. I'm gonna make sure about it's the Court of Appeal of California. California, yep, 1952, and I'm double checking 1952. Literally videos and animated videos that you can watch, which I absolutely love because this helps me. I am a visual person, and Quimbee is definitely a holy grail for law school, in my opinion. One of the best ways I can say that you can get some good grades in law school just by using Quimbee. Here you'll get the facts. Again, the rule of law issue, holding, reasoning, but obviously you have to have paid version for some of these. Sometimes it gives you rule of law, sometimes it gives you issue, but for some cases you just have to pay extra or start a free trial to get everything else. Once I've read, highlighted, and watched a case brief video on Quimbee, I then transfer everything to my Google Docs to take my notes. And I'm going to show you guys how I do that on my laptop right now, and like basically how I organize it all. But here is the key. I do challenge myself to rewrite everything that I've like highlighted into my own words. I feel like if you can make it concise by summarizing everything that you've read, then you actually understand it. So try to challenge yourself to do that, not just taking notes, but just you want to make it concise anyways, because when you're possibly going to be cold called in class and you want to read off your screen, everyone's going to be looking at you. Oh, sorry. I don't want to give you guys anxiety, but like, just make it concise, because you're going to want to get your cold call out the way as soon as possible. So you're going to want to make it as short as possible so you can just read away and be done, and then go on to the next person. So the way I start my notes is I'm going to start with the week and the page numbers that I'm reading. So I'm going to do torts because that was the easiest. I'm going to put week 7 and I'm going to put the page number so you can always flip to the exact pages. For example, this page is 95 and I'm going to put what chapter that I'm on. I'm going to date it so I can always go back to a date if somebody was to say something about a date. I know exactly where to go. I just like to highlight. I don't highlight these for any specific reason. I just find that the colors are so cute. So I just put this little mauve pink and this whatever blue you might call this. I'm going to use this Tarasoff case for example. This is Tarasoff versus the Regents of the University of California by the Supreme Court of California in 1976. So after I've done all of my highlighting, so you know, I've done my yellow, my blue, my issue in green, my rules in blue, all such things, I am now going to go put it here. And I use Google Docs. So again, like I told you guys, I do facts, issue, rule, application, and holding. So I'm going to summarize everything all in my own words, and here's what I was able to come up with. So I'm able to put the facts. So again, all the facts are in yellow. Facts, facts, facts. So I'm summarizing that to be put in, let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 sentences. And my issue, like I said, pose it as a question. So I pose that as a yes or no question. And then my rule, which is with the law. So as you guys can see where it says like the common law, you know, or when a healthcare professional such as a therapist determines that this patient, blah, 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 he incurs an obligation to use reasonable care, blah, blah, blah. Application, basically how like the rule applies. I'm connecting the rule to the facts, which is the bridge. And then I'm going to put the holding. So like I said, the Supreme Court found Potter guilty and ruled that the doctor-patient privilege can be waived. So blah, blah, blah. Not so blah, 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 but basically, you know, what the court held. That's what I'm going to put. And then I'm also going to put like key notes, like big takeaways. So I learned that this whole entire case is now known as a Tarasoff law. Like that's actually a law now. So I'm just going to put some cool notes that I've learned. I will show you guys how I make this box in particular in just 1 second. After everything is said and finally done, I review all my notes. And then at least about 10-15 minutes before class, I review my notes again. So that way, if I'm possibly cold called, I am ready. Now, during class, you are essentially hearing other people's opinions. You're hearing people's answers. You're listening to your professor teach or whatnot. So all this stuff, I am actually taking notes. If it's important, I am putting that in my notes, which I showed you guys where I was putting it. So I'm adding professor comments, clarifications, I'm changing what needs to be changed, I'm learning new things and putting that in there, putting big takeaways under the case brief. Later, I'll review those again so I can connect everything back to the case. So you want to have all that good. I know you guys are going to be like, okay, we're on to the next case, but you're going to have to come back to all these when it's time for exam or finals and you need to outline. So under that, like I told you guys, the way I do my class notes, I'm literally putting the things that I learned in my class, maybe from another student, or maybe what my professor is saying, or maybe what he put on in a PowerPoint. So I'm just typing in everything that I've learned here. Some of the questions that he might ask, I'm going to type the questions and I'm going to write the answers to it. And then we go on to the next case. And that's typically how I transfer everything I have read in case brief to an actual case brief notes to read over. Okay, now here's a mini tutorial on how I make this box, and I'm using Google Docs again. So for example, I'm just gonna have a blank space. I'm gonna pause here because this is something I didn't realize until final exams. Is you see where it says document tabs, use those tabs and utilize it wisely by organizing your sections. So if you're doing negligence, make a tab for negligence. If you're doing battery and assault, make a tab for battery and assault, and etc. Insert right here, and I'm going to go to table, and it's going to have a building block. I'm literally just going to click that one block, so I'm going to do one by one, and it's going to create this block for me. So then I would go to center, and I'm going to put just any type of case, and I'm going to make sure I bolden it and put Vanessa versus the Vanessa K, whatever. Oops, that B should be lowercase. That looks so weird. Okay, so I'm gonna put, I don't know, Supreme Court of Georgia, 2025. I usually bolden that as well. Then I'm gonna start no more center, and I'm gonna make sure I put the facts again. So facts, issue, rule, application, holding, and I'm going to bolden that. And that is typically how I create these little things for my notes. Keep in mind, you don't always have to do that. What sometimes I'll typically do is I will literally copy this whole thing and then I will paste it. So let's see, copy, and then I'm gonna paste it under here, Control V. So now I have it again, and I will just change the, the court and the case name, and then I'll insert my stuff. So that's also a little quick hack that you can just keep this flow going. What I had to remember and what I want to share with you guys is that nobody really looks at your case briefs. The only time somebody might look at your case brief is maybe if somebody missed a class, which might be your friend, and they may ask you, can you share your notes with them? So that has happened, but I make my notes really aesthetically pleasing just for my eyes, not for anybody else. And I'm very detailed in my notes. So I've gotten many comments and people of my classmates or my peers saying that I take really, really good notes. And so hopefully they say the same thing about yours, because I'm sharing the same things that I do for you. The goal is to make your notes, your case briefs feasible for you, not them, not anyone else, but for you. Put it where it makes the most sense to you, as long as you understand everything. That's all that's important. I'll definitely also add a suggestion. Try to make your case briefs at least just one page. You don't want to be scrolling, but you're going to have a lot of case briefs that you're going to be using. So I would say try to make it as concise as possible, but for something that you will understand. Guys, that is my full law school study system, not including outlines, because that is a whole nother video. But I hope that this helped. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and also put in the comments some other study tips for other law students that might be trying to find some study tips, or might be a pre-law student trying to figure out how this law school system goes. As always, subscribe for more videos. I do have other law school videos that might be worth watching or might be interesting vlogs to watch. I don't make a lot, obviously, because I just feel like people aren't really watching the law school videos, and I have a lot that I filmed but was too busy in law school to even edit. So hopefully I can get those out there. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I've been losing friends and finding peace.